I had the opportunity to work with one of the richest men in Ghana in the person of Dr. Kwabena Duffuor Sr. And during my 6 or so years there, I learned some business principles from him that have stuck with me all through the years. Of course, it doesn't mean that we are all going to be millionaires or multi-millionaires like Kwabena Duffuor and the like. But one thing that I can guarantee is that this business secret is definitely going to change your way of thinking of business. It's definitely going to help you become more profitable in your businesses. And so if you want to dig in, if you want to know what this business secret is, then stay tuned. I'll be right back. Yeah, so somewhere around 2011, after completing my first degree, so I was posted to one of Kwabena Duffuor's companies, that's Star Life Assurance. Then from there, I moved to Star Micro Insurance, which was a subsidiary of the Star Life or the Star Group. And I was in the claims department, and then later moved to the underwriting department. Of course, we switched offices. We left the Trust Towers and then went to Kukumlemle. So on this very bright afternoon, we had a message that Kwabena Duffuor was coming to the office. He hadn't been to Star Micro ever since it was started, so this was the first time he wanted to come in and then familiarize himself with the staff and how our business operations were like. So in fact, that was the first time I had met him up close. Before, it was just during our holder meetings or whatever. One of the main things that have stuck with me after the interactions and then also taking notice of how he ran his business, I realized a certain pattern that runs through most successful Ghanaian businessmen's businesses. And this is what I want to share with you today. So what is the secret? The secret is that they build companies that feed off each other. So this is how it works. In the case of Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, to the best of my knowledge, the first company he started was Star Assurance, somewhere around 1986. Now, after successfully building this company, he decided to widen his tentacles. And they don't just start off opening businesses for the sake of it. It is an actual calculated strategy. So in the case of Star Assurance, it was they had grown into a very big insurance company. And then they realized that they were mobilizing a lot of premiums. Now, these premiums were seated in banks who were owned by different people. And so what Kwabena Duffuor did was to create his own bank. So now, instead of these premiums going to someone else's bank, all these premiums were channeled into his own bank. The other thing that the bank also did was to make sure that all salaries that were paid by Star Assurance to their staff, it was compulsory that they had to be paid through his bank, which was then defunct Unibank. And in fact, that's what runs through the older group of companies. It is compulsory to open a bank account in a bank that's owned by Kwabena Duffuor. So all salaries are paid there. And in essence, money doesn't really move out of his empire. Money comes in, but money doesn't move out. So at a point, he realized that, okay, with my insurance businesses, of course, by then he had started Star Life and also started some other financial institutions. He realized that some of the overhead costs could be actually reduced. For example, printing of policy documents books and all that, he realized was really capital intensive. So what he did was to create an arm of his empire to print policy documents and to print other paper products to all his companies. And it went on to the point of he opening even media companies and even security firms to man all his businesses. And this is a very big thing that Ghanaian businesses do. I mean, you talk of Despite, you talk of Kesben. They run the same kind of business model. So the flagship business for Despite, to the best of my knowledge, was his selling of cassettes in UTC Kantamanto area. Then he was able to build that business successfully, create a radio station. Then the radio station advertises Despite's cassette business. You get the drift. So it means that Despite cassette business and Peace FM were feeding off each other. Then it went on, and as I speak to you now, I know he has Best Point Savings and Loans, and I think even Best Point Insurance. Best Point Savings and Loans are going to advertise on his media houses, and so these businesses feed off each other. So the main advantage of running such businesses is that, number one, it opens the business net of that particular business, and it makes sure a lot of money comes in. However, the expenses of that business is reduced. You get the point. So lots of money comes in, but what goes out is very few, which is one basic principle of business, or even basic principle of making wealth. You need to make more income, but your expenditure has to be minimized. So this type of business model does this to perfection. Another thing about this type of business secret is that it makes your businesses very competitive. Your businesses feed off each other, so you are able to cut operating costs, which in turn means that you can also cut some profits on your products, something that other businesses who are your competitors cannot do. So it doesn't mean you'd have to also be into this type of businesses, insurance or anything, to take advantage of some of these business tricks. For instance, if you start a small buying and selling business, let's say you import stuff, or maybe you distribute food stuff or something, you're already making profits from the buying and selling of this. So you can also, let's say, buy a truck that's going to make your transportation of these products to your clients more easier. So with something like that, it means that even with a truck, your truck is going to also double up as bringing you additional income. Whenever it's not distributing your products, you can give it out for rent, and it's going to bring in additional income. There are so many ways you can go about this, but this is something that has really stuck with me, and it's something that I've tried in my own way to always inculcate it into whatever business ideas I have. The jury is out, so if you've made it this far into my video, I urge you to click on the like button. Please click on the like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm recommend it to like-minded people like you and me to also have access to this, and then together we grow this community of business-minded people. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to bring you the next one. Bye.